Imagine waking up one day to discover the forests where you hunted as a kid, the rivers where your family fished, and the hills where you camped under the stars are all fenced off. Gone. Sold to the highest bidder. Now, only the rich or powerful can step foot there. This is not some far-off horror story. It is happening right now in America. In this podcast, hosted by former Navy SEAL Shawn Ryan, his guest Braxton McCoy, a combat veteran and lifelong outdoorsman, exposes what he calls the shocking plan to erase public land. Together they lay out a story of greed, hidden deals, and political betrayal that could change the country forever. Stay with me, because we will go through 10 takeaways that will make you look at America's wide-open spaces, its politicians, and even your own backyard in a way you never have before. Takeaway 1. The shocking plan to erase public land. This entire podcast starts with a giant alarm bell. Braxton explains how politicians like Senator Mike Lee have quietly pushed bills that could lead to selling off millions of acres of public land in the American West. We are talking about up to 250 million acres that might be put on the chopping block. That is more land than the size of Texas and California combined. The excuse they give is to build more affordable housing, but there are already laws that let cities carefully expand when truly needed. So why create new rules? It looks like a backdoor plan to permanently shift who controls this land. Once it is sold, it never comes back. Just imagine the next time your family drives out to fish or camp. You see giant no trespassing signs instead of open meadows. This is why they call it shocking, because most Americans still think their public lands are safe. But they are not. And it only gets worse when you see who will pay the biggest price. Takeaway 2. Hunters, ranchers, and families lose first. Braxton and Shawn dive into how this is not just a matter of paperwork. If these public lands get sold, small family ranchers could be crushed first. Many already struggle to survive, often relying on public land for grazing cattle. Without it, their businesses collapse. Hunters would lose vast grounds where they have tracked elk and deer for generations. A father might no longer be able to teach his son how to shoot a bow or track an animal on the same ridge where his own father once stood. Even people who just want to hike or look at wildflowers could be locked out forever. These lands let ordinary people live like kings. No matter how poor you are, you can still pitch a tent and watch the stars. Sell it off, and that freedom vanishes. And if you think this is all just by accident, wait until you hear who stands to profit. Takeaway 3. How the powerful get richer from your land. Braxton pulls back the curtain on why this push is so relentless. It is not really about helping people buy homes. It is about helping the already rich get richer. He names companies like Blackstone, private equity giants that gobble up real estate. He points out that donors tied to these big financial interests help keep politicians like Mike Lee in power. So while everyday people might lose places to hunt or fish, big investors stand to make millions buying land cheap and selling it high or turning it into luxury developments. Imagine Wall Street suits deciding what happens to the river you grew up fishing on. That is not freedom. That is a rigged system. And Braxton knows firsthand how they try to keep regular folks from ever fighting back. Takeaway 4. They try to silence those who speak up. When Braxton started calling out this land sell-off on social media, something creepy happened. Powerful people tried to shut him up. Shawn Ryan even got phone calls telling him not to have Braxton on the show. Someone created fake accounts online to insult Braxton, calling him a communist and trying to ruin his reputation. Meanwhile, these same politicians somehow become millionaires, while supposedly earning modest government salaries. It shows just how badly they want to keep control of the story. They hope people will be too scared or too distracted to notice what is happening. But Braxton kept talking anyway, because for him, this is deeply personal. Takeaway 5. A veteran's life shaped by public land. Braxton grew up poor in southern Utah. His family did not have much money, so public lands were everything. They were where he learned to fish with his grandfather, where his grandmother once chased moose on a four-wheeler just to get a closer look, and where he helped neighbors move cattle. For families like his, public land was like having a giant backyard that did not cost a dime. It gave them dignity and memories they could never have bought otherwise. This is why he feels so strongly that these lands belong to the people, not to some faceless corporation. But Braxton's reasons go even deeper than childhood memories. We're halfway through the video. Thanks for sticking with us. If you're enjoying it, hit the thumbs up and share it in your WhatsApp groups. If you'd like to support us, please tap the thanks button below. It helps us keep making great content. Drop a comment and don't forget to hit subscribe for more. Now let's continue with the video. Takeaway 6. War injuries made his mission stronger. Braxton also shares his story of nearly dying in Iraq. A suicide bomber blew himself up right next to him. Braxton's body was shattered, with broken legs, a crushed arm, and open wounds so deep he could see inside himself. He joked with his medic even as he thought he would bleed out and die. After dozens of surgeries and months in hospitals, he came back home with a new sense of what truly matters. To him, public lands are part of what American soldiers fought and bled for. It makes his blood boil to see politicians who never risked anything try to sell off the very land he and others sacrificed to protect. Takeaway 7. Public land means real freedom. For Braxton and many Americans, public land is not just some government asset. It is freedom itself. It means that even if you live in a tiny apartment or work a low-paying job, you can still grab your kids and go watch elk on a hillside, fish in a clear stream, or sleep under the stars. It is a piece of the American dream that does not depend on how much money you have. That is why Teddy Roosevelt fought to protect these lands over 100 years ago. So greedy elites could not buy up everything and fence off nature from regular people. Selling it off means ripping away a freedom that makes this country special. Takeaway 8. Water is drying up fast, but it is not just about money or freedom. Braxton and Shawn also talk about how the West simply does not have enough water to support millions of new homes. Lake Mead is down more than 100 feet. Utah has to seed clouds just to squeeze out a little more rain, and experts say many aquifers could run dry in just a decade. Meanwhile, politicians push to build giant new developments in the desert instead of fixing old, broken cities back east. It makes no sense unless you realize there is more profit in building shiny new neighborhoods on what used to be public hunting grounds than in cleaning up neighborhoods that have struggled for years. Takeaway 9. More people could flip entire states. There is also a hidden political angle. Braxton does the math, pointing out that 7 million new homes might bring 21 million new people into states like Utah, Montana, and Wyoming. Many of these states barely have 1 million people right now. Just 50,000 new voters could completely flip the politics of a place like Wyoming. That means the fight over public land is not just about camping spots. It is about who controls the future of these states, and maybe the country. It is one more reason why people everywhere should pay attention. Takeaway 10. If you stay silent, you lose forever. At the end of the podcast, both Braxton and Shawn make a simple but powerful point. Most Americans, whether they are conservative or liberal, do not want public lands sold. Poll after poll shows this. But if good people keep quiet because they are afraid of being targeted or just do not want the hassle, then the corrupt politicians and their big money backers will win. Once these lands are gone, they will be gone forever. So Braxton calls on people to think about their kids and grandkids. Do you want them to grow up fenced off from the places you loved? Or will you speak up now while you still can? By the time you finish listening to this podcast, you can see why Braxton calls it the shocking plan to erase public land. It is about greed, corruption, and short-sighted power plays that threaten a piece of America that makes life richer for everyone. So next time you drive past an open field, a dark forest, or a sunlit canyon, ask yourself who will own it in 10 years. Will it still be yours? Or will it belong to people who only care about squeezing out the last dollar? The choice is closer than you think. Speak up, stay loud, and help keep America truly free. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support this channel, hit the thanks button below. It really helps us keep going. If you enjoyed this summary, please leave a like and share it in your WhatsApp groups. To join discussion about this video, drop a comment below. And for more videos like this, hit the subscribe button below.